How's it going, guys? Bring Your Platoon here, and welcome to a good game in World of Tanks Xbox One Edition. Today I'm going to be playing the Tier 9 British heavy tank, the Conqueror. This thing's not OP as fuck, but it is pretty much up there. It's very well armored indeed. It's got, like, little weak points in the turret that can be penned if you're, like, really close to it. It's actually in the mantlet, which is kind of depressing. But you'd have to be, I don't know, like 5 meters in front, face-hugging it to pen them reliably. So everyone knows about this tank. It's got a 120 millimeter on it. You got 259 for your base AP pen, for your base AP pen, for your AP round pen, and 326 millimeters of penetration for your premium APCR rounds. And then you get a special British Hesh round as in replacement of your normal high explosive round that does 120 millimeters of penetration and a whole whopping 515 damage, which is pretty standard for high explosive if I'm not mistaken from the E5. But yeah, moving on. Dispersion for the gun is phenomenal at 0.33 dispersion at 100 meters. Aim time is 1.9, also very phenomenal. Top speed, kind of slow, 34 kilometers an hour. Reverse speed is 12. Did I mention the alpha of the gun? Yeah, you get the very standard alpha of your 120 millimeter gun of 400, except for obviously the Hesh rounds, which I just went over. 1950 health, or 1950 health, however you want to pronounce that. 400 meters view range. Gun depression is great, as all the British tanks are. 10 degrees, and then the gun elevation is 15 degrees. It's got good traverse and terrain resistance as well. It can side scrape some rounds, but anything bigger than 155 millimeter in caliber, you will overmatch the side of it, even hitting it at, you know, side scraping angles, and you'll pen it, because that's just what happens. Using all your gun depression for the upper hull, you get around 330 millimeters of effective protection, 320 around there. So people shooting heat at you will still pen you, because heat pens up to, what was I going to say, 85 or 80 degrees. And the hull at using all of your depression is only at 66.6, which is a weird number, but moving on. And looking straight onto the mantlet, like right outside the gun barrel, is 220 millimeters of effective armor, and that's right outside the gun barrel. It's a very small margin that you can pen in the mantlet itself. This is when the gun's looking directly at you, no angle at all. And then if you fire premium also underneath the mantlet, almost into the turret, but into the turret ring, that right underneath the mantlet is 254 millimeters of effective armor. You can pen there relatively no problem if you're close enough to it, and if you are just face hugging it, let's just put that gun in the original position. Let's just pretend you're like right here. Oh yeah, you can pen that, no problem. Okay, so no, I lied. The turret ring itself is actually 304 millimeters of protection. The little flat part above that, right, it's the turret itself is 254 millimeters thick, and it is flat there underneath the mantlet. Only underneath the mantlet. If you go below that, it's the turret ring, which is 304 millimeters of protection. So shoot the turret itself, not the turret ring. I know that's kind of confusing, but yeah. The roof of the turret is 50.8. If you have a huge-ass gun, like, I don't know, a 155 millimeter gun, you can auto-match that. Or if you're shooting heat at this thing, again, another weakness, the normally auto-bounce, very angled part of the commander's hatch, you can overmatch with heat. And yeah, that's pretty depressing, but again, it is a very small target, so good luck hitting that reliably. You can otherwise focus on the flatter part of the commander's hatch and just pen that with normal rounds, because it's only 121, 235 millimeters of protection. And then I talked about the roof of the turret. The roof of the chassis itself in the back, the ass end of the tank, is only 17 millimeters thick, so that can be overmatched by anything, which sucks dick, but moving on. The roof of the chassis in the front is a good 44.5 millimeters thick, so that cannot be overmatched by 120 millimeter guns. Again, you're going to have a bigger caliber gun for that. Yeah, if people are face-hugging you and they aim down at your upper plate, it's very easy to pen. It's like 200 millimeters thick. So, yeah, look out for people face-hugging you. They don't even need premium when they're looking down on your tank. Kind of disappointing, but whatever. You get hull down on this thing, you're good to go. You're not going to be face-hugging other people normally. And if you are, then you're either killing them with that shot you're loading currently, or, well, you're just playing it wrong. You go on a ridgeline, you snipe, your lower plate sucks dick. Let's not even talk about that, because flat on, with like the sharpest angle you could possibly give without doing auto ricochet, it's 76 millimeters of protection. With the angle of 69 degrees, it's 175 millimeters. So if people can see your upper plate, they can pen it. Make no mistake, there is very little protection there. But this thing is phenomenal. I can't wait to get the Super Conqueror. I already 3-marked it, but, oh yeah, you like that shot? How it biffed right in the engine deck and, behind the turret of that T-28 prototype? That was BS if I've ever seen it. But yeah, I did 3-mark this tank. This was the game that I was like, you know what? I like this tank. It's a good tank. I'm going to 3-mark it. And that very day, today, I 3-marked this game. Or I 3-marked this tank. It took me like, I don't know how many games in total, but like, I probably played 20 more games in it today. Just because I have to use it for the machine contract anyway, so I'm like, whatever. So I played it a lot, and it's really easy to play and do well in. And yeah, I 3-marked it. But this was not that game. I'll upload several more games of this tank just because they're great games, and I think they're worth the upload. They're nothing like phenomenal like my more recent AMX M454 game where I'm using the 120mm and I get 10,000 damage, but it's like better than average games, I must say. So, game's over. Those are the endgame stats. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. There you go. There's the endgame stats. Okay, catch you later.